In this video, I'm going to introduce the Heifitop by Judo water treatment. This is the next generation of Sidestream filters for your closed-loop heating and chilled systems. If your facility is still using a traditional Sidestream filter such as this with a replaceable cartridge element, then this is a video you'll want to pay attention to as the technology has evolved to do away with some of the outdated drawbacks of this style system. As you're aware, with the replaceable cartridge filter, the whole idea is to replace the cartridge with a brand new one every time it gets dirty. The problem with this model is having the consumables of the replacement cartridges, but also having issues with crimped and replacement O-rings, which wind up costing quite a bit of time to get sorted and sourced, and also this volume of air that gets reintroduced into your heating or your chilled system every time you change a filter. The Heifitop by Judo water treatment is a way to do away with these outdated concepts. In fact, I was in Germany doing factory training at the Judo factory quite a few years ago, and when I mentioned that in North America we still use throwaway cartridge filters as a side stream, they actually laughed at me. They haven't used a throwaway cartridge in approximately 30 years, they said. So we're a little behind the times in North America, but fortunately the technology is already there, so it makes for easy adoption. First, just a quick discussion on the application. As you're probably aware, a Sidestream filter is designed to remove the particulate matter or the impurities from the loop, which build up over time. So here, a quick picture, you can see dirty water due to corrosion in the pipe, and of course a clean sample after filtration. And of course the impurities in the water have two major consequences, one of which is physical wear and tear on all the mechanical systems in there, pumps, boilers, seals, etc. And the other is on heat exchange efficiency. So there's a little table provided here by Judo which actually shows the reduction in heat exchange efficiency and therefore an increase in operating costs based on a thickness of deposits on heat transfer surfaces. So a 1/16 of an inch of iron and silica containing content will actually have a 14% reduction in heat exchange efficiency. And I'm sure contractors who have been in the industry for a long time have seen significantly larger depositions than a 1/16 of an inch. So you can imagine how quickly that curve will go up from there. And of course, by reducing the impurity load, you protect all of your mechanical systems as well as maintain the efficiency on heat exchange. So the way that Judo has improved upon the throwaway cartridge version is with a clean-in-place system. So a filter system that is nearly identical in size to the old cartridge version has a clean-in-place model. So no more replacement cartridges and no more disassembly. So you don't actually even need to turn the water off or wait for it to cool or look for new O-rings. You simply clean the filter in place in a matter of seconds, and I'll show you how that works. So this cutaway diagram here shows the internals of the system. On the back end of it here is the Judo quickset rotary flange, which is your water connection assembly. And what they've done is internally you have these baffles which allow you to rotate the connection flange in any direction, up, down, left, or right. So retrofits to existing plumbing systems are a snap based on that. The rotary flange kit connects to the back of the unit, and it brings your feed water in and then has your treated water connection out. Once the water enters the filter unit, it passes up through the filter, down the back side of the unit, back out, and to distribution. And the advantage of having a high point in the system here is not only do you have an integrated filter, but you also have an integrated air vent. So any oxygen that is getting into the system has a high point catch and an auto air vent out. So you're actually getting a filter and air separation device built into one package. To clean the system is a snap. All you do is you rotate the bottom black assembly on the unit 180 degrees, open this drain valve, and your drain fitting here is connected to a floor drain, and you purge out 1 to 3 liters of water, just enough to purge out the volume of the container itself, and then you close your valve and return your handle back to the starting position. Literally takes you a few seconds. And what that accomplishes is when you're first turning that handle 180 degrees, you're rotating the brush on the inside, and there are actually little ribs vertically on the system which agitate the bristles and knock off all the debris at the same time you've isolated your flow. And then when you open your valve, you back flush all that loosened debris down and none of that debris gets released through the distribution line. To show you what that looks like in person, you can see the cutaway of the unit. So here are all the bristles arranged in that spiral path, which gives you that filter. And the cleaning mechanism is as simple as this. Turning that hand crank 180 degrees, and you can see what happened is those bristles were agitated by those vertical ribs, and you may be able to see this hole in the video. This was your inlet, which has now been isolated and reversed. And you just open your valve, purge out your couple of liters of water, close your valve, and go back to your starting position. So if you're wondering where these systems are installed, you have a couple of options. If you have an existing facility with a Sidestream filter, you can simply replace the existing cartridge assembly with the Heifitop unit. And the connection length on the fitting assembly is 7 to 7.5 inches for the most common sizes, which lines up quite well with the existing cartridge filters. For new installations, they are typically installed either in an inline design on a smaller system, and that can either be on the supply or the return side from your boilers or your chillers, or certainly commonly done on a Sidestream application. So that can be done Sidestream across a pump, so you have that pressure difference driving the flow, or a Sidestream across, again, the supply and the return lines. As far as design characteristics go, I typically see from the engineers usually about a 5% flow targeted through any kind of a Sidestream filter, but that would be application specific, and you can certainly contact our office if you have any questions. The Heifitop system comes from connection sizes from 3/4 inch up to 2 inch, the 3/4 and 1 inch certainly being the most common options, and those will have flow rates of 8.5 to 13 GPM. The higher end 2 inch will flow up to 35 GPM, and you can see the temperature rating on these is probably fairly typical for hot water rated systems, up to 194 F or 90 degrees Celsius. And a note on the form factor for these units: the smaller end, the 3/4 inch and 1.25 inch, looks like this single tower. It's actually the same filter body with a different fitting kit. The 1.5 inch and the 2 inch version actually has two of those filters installed with a single connection rotary flange. So you also have the option of simply plumbing two of these in parallel on site. As far as dimensions go, you can see that the single filter version here has a fitting width of 7 inches for the 3/4 inch unit, 7.5 for the 1 inch unit, and that's if the fitting is installed horizontally. If your water flow or your piping is vertical and you want it to match, then your width suddenly becomes the width of the filter body itself, which is down 5.25 inches. And if we look at the dimensions on the double units, your horizontal flange assembly here is 10 inches on the 1.5 inch and 11.25 on the 2 inch unit. Another feature you may have noticed is every unit has this insulation cover on it, and so it's safe to handle. So if you're changing the filters, you don't need to isolate flow and wait for it to cool. You can walk straight up to it with our white glove cleaning, as we call it. So to date, we've seen the biggest uptake in these systems in applications such as schools, hospitals, manufacturing facilities, residential applications such as in-floor heat, commercial buildings, but really anywhere you have a Sidestream filter installed that you're currently wasting money on your throwaway filters, these are going to provide a good long-term cost savings for you for many years to come. We have quite a few facilities who have trialed these units, one or two at a time, and then after a short period decide to start replacing all of their Sidestream filters with them, so they wind up putting them in by the dozens or more. This is an effective, low-cost way to trial the technology before embarking on a whole-scale change-out of all of your units. So if you have any questions on the Heifitop or would be interested in trialing a unit or two, feel free to contact our office. info@watertiger.net is our email, or you can check out our website at www.watertiger.net. Thanks for your time.